What's up, guys? I'm Kyler, and I'll be providing a review of Sicario today. Sicario comes to us from director Denis Villeneuve and follows FBI agent Kate Mercer, played by Emily Blunt, a kidnap response specialist who, after encountering a drug lord's victim dumping ground, which promptly explodes, is assigned to an interagency task force tracking that drug lord down. The group is led by flip-flop-wearing Department of Defense consultant Matt, played by Josh Brolin, and the mysterious Alejandro, played by Benicio del Toro. Alejandro is a former lawyer with a very murky past, who's pretty emblematic of the fact that things are not as they seem, and Mercer is forced to confront with what it truly takes to succeed in a dark world populated by brutality and death, and whether she can truly live with that. This movie does not hesitate to make it clear that its emphasis is on the war in the war on drugs, since it's just full of bodies and broken people. But even that is not really the best way of putting it. As Matt says about halfway through the film, the war on drugs is over, because millions of people keep snorting and smoking all the drugs coming out of the war, and so we lost, and now it's time to just make something out of all the pieces. It's not clear this is a dark movie, but it's not dark for the sake of just being dark. It's dark because that's the world that these characters find themselves thrust into. And whether you accept that darkness or try to fight it is a really key aspect of the film. Kate begins the movie completely in charge. She's leading a raid of FBI and SWAT into a location of possible kidnapping victims. But once she joins the task force and sees the real hell that is out there, she's slowly pushed more and more aside as it becomes clear that her ideals and good nature just don't have a place in this. With all the glitz and shine and big set pieces of this year's action movies like Mission Impossible or Age of Ultron, it's easy to forget how important build-up and suspense are to the impact of a movie. Sicario doesn't forget that. This is a movie that understands good pacing, and that's always something I found pretty underappreciated by most people. Great pacing makes every moment feel important, makes every hit feel more powerful. It makes your heart just sink further into your stomach when you begin to piece together what's going on, and yet makes you jump when you get there. Everything in the movie feels like it serves a purpose. Villeneuve shows off just a clear love of establishing shots, and almost all of them seem mundane and dull. The colors of the scene are bland, and the pedestrians are just going about their days in either a suburb in Arizona or in the middle of Juarez. But it works because those dull settings mixed with a superb score set up this feeling of oncoming dread and chaos that you just don't feel ready for, and it's amazing. And it's interesting also to note that as Kate gets more and more pushed aside during the mission, she's also getting more and more pushed aside in the movie. Her screen time just goes down pretty significantly near the end of the movie. But because of the phenomenal performances of Blunt, Brolin, and especially Benicio del Toro, you don't feel cheated out of the character, because you're invested in seeing how far this thing can possibly go. These are Oscar-worthy performances from the three, and like I said, especially Del Toro, who has a revelatory role that only grows more and more interesting as the movie progresses. I can also see possible wins for Villeneuve, cinematographer Roger Deakins, and first-time screenwriter Taylor Sheridan, who you might actually know as Sheriff David Hale from Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. Is it a perfect movie? No, there really isn't anything like that. It's a bit odd at times, like the few parts about a state police officer in Mexico and his family, but that's not enough to stop me from saying this. Everyone should go and see this movie. I'm giving Sicario 5 out of 5 stars because while it's not perfect, it's pretty damn close, and it is closer than a lot of movies I've seen in a long time. And it has been an incredibly long time since a movie made my heart beat as hard as this movie did, and I'm willing to bet it'll have the same effect on most of y'all. It currently stands alone as the best movie I've seen all year, and despite a really strong schedule for the rest of 2015, I have a feeling it probably will stay there. I cannot recommend this movie highly enough. Back to you guys.